Proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Wednesday, the 8th day of November 2023, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, if you do so, the life you save may be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you as well. And to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs are brought to you by Pizza Boat Express. They are now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. We urge you to hop on board the Pizza Boat Express because Pizza Boat, they make pizza even more fun. You can pick your pizza up or have it delivered. Simply call 949-0000 or order online via www.pizzaboat.ky. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. I'm going to abbreviate my other opening comments just to remind you that our phone lines will be open during this segment. You can call us on our numbers 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. Also to remind you that that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson is waiting in the control room to take your calls as well. Again, to remind you that the For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Pizza Boat, who are now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Let's look at some of the birthday greetings that we have. Miss Cassandra Taylor celebrating birthday today, as well as Miss Omeria Gordon. Miss Omeria is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to her. Recent birthdays, Sherilyn Ebanks celebrated her birthday yesterday. Neil Neil Mattei, Mattei. Okay, A is missing. Matea, I'm told. And Miss Georgette Watson celebrated her birthday as well yesterday. We do have a caller on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Miss Susan. I just called in to wish Miss Omera Gordon a happy, wonderful birthday, and I ask the good Lord to spare her with many, many more to come. She's an amazing friend and one of my committee members, so I just want her to have a wonderful day today. So again, happy birthday to Omera Gordon. And to let the public know, I'll be coming on the show after the headline news at 8, so maybe around 8:15, 8:20 I'll be on. And if there's anything that you guys, the public wants me to address, be happy to just call in or let yourself, OC, know, and hopefully I can address them when I get in. Okay? God bless you, and thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. And for those of you, if you didn't recognize the voice, which you should, that was Honorable Kenneth Bryan, Minister with responsibility for tourism and ports as well. So, all those birthday persons, if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday today, please pass the information on to us so that we can give them a birthday shout out right here on the For the Record, which is, this segment is sponsored by Pizza Boat. They are now open in Queens Court on West Bay Road. We urge you to hop on board the Pizza Boat Express. Why? Because Pizza Boat, they make pizza even more fun. You can pick your pizza up or have it delivered. Simply call 949-0000, or you can order online via www.pizzaboat.ky. Okay, phone lines are open. Send us those birthday shout outs as well. You always want to recognize your friends or your loved ones. They're celebrating a birthday. And we have expanded it slightly so that if they're celebrating any other momentous occasion, that you can share that as well. Okay. So you heard Minister Bryan. He's going to be on the show. On Friday, we will have Minister J.E. Banks on the show with us as well. And during the course of, between now and 8 o'clock, I will share with you this press release that was issued by the Ministry of Agriculture, Planning, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure. And, of course, now they have transport as well. And it is about a united vision for Cayman Islands transportation. So the ministry has received Cabinet's approval for transformative amalgamation. Amalgamation, sorry. Did I pronounce that wrong the first time? Transformative amalgamation. And I'm going to start talking about it. This will give our audience an opportunity to be familiar with what is being proposed, what's happening. And then, of course, you know, when Minister J.E. Banks is in the studio, he is always amenable to taking phone calls as well. And then you may want to talk about this and that will help to guide the conversation if you know exactly what it is all about. So the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure, they're proud to announce a monumental step in enhancing transportation in the Cayman Islands. Cabinet has commissioned the ministry to create a business case with a view of potentially creating, folks, listen to the words, with a view of potentially creating a Department of Transportation. That is why the business case is necessary, because they're looking at the potential. If the business case supports it, then it'll probably happen. It goes on to say the review will take a critical view of the National Roads Authority, known as the NRA, the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing, DVDL, and the Public Transport Unit, PTU, all of which have a part to play in transportation in the Cayman Islands. This decisive move mirrors best practice from the UK, paving the way for an integrated entity dedicated to organizing, designing, and maintaining all transportation facets in the Cayman Islands. Minister J. Ebanks shared his vision, and he's quoted as saying, "This is the first step in more than a structural change. It's a commitment to our community. By analyzing these departments collectively and holistically, we are laying down the tracks for a transportation system that is safer, more reliable, and ready to meet the demands of our growing population. The future of Cayman's transport is now on a path to world-class standards." The release goes on to say the NRA, principally funded by the Road Fund, is sourced from fuel import duties and driver's license fees. This financial reform supports a high-quality transport infrastructure while maintaining a budget surplus for governmental fiscal health. As part of its commitment to holistic transportation improvement, the ministry is also excited to announce the imminent launch of the National Road Safety Strategy, known as the NRSS, by the acronyms NRSS, this week. So the National Road Safety Strategy will be announced this week. This cabinet approved national strategy will be integrated to our vision of creating safer roads and reducing the incidence of traffic accidents and injuries across the islands. Stay tuned for this pivotal development in our journey towards a more secure and responsible transportation system. There's more to this. One announcement, we have been hearing questions asking about a particular report, and there is something in this press release about that as well. I have to take a commercial break. When I return, I will continue to share this press release with you and tell you more about one particular report that people have been asking about. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Harold A. J. Bodden, Certificate of Honor, 1931 to 2014.
J. Bodden contributed to the building of the country literally by paving roads and providing material for homes and office buildings. Among the major projects on which his first company, a heavy equipment firm, worked are Cayman Turtle Farm, Governor's Harbor, Snug Harbor, and Lime Tree Bay. Jay and his brother Hubert own Island Paving Limited, which has carried out such notable work as the runway, taxiway, and apron rehabilitation projects at both Owen Roberts International Airport and Gerard Smith International Airport on Cayman Brac. With his two brothers, he donated a parcel of land near Petro St. James to be used as a playground for the Savannah Newlands community. Jay Bodden took pride in volunteering to help keep Cayman clean. He married Mary Diane Nee Henderson, with whom he had 4 daughters and a son who is now deceased.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets are red hot and moving. Somebody's going to win, and why not you? Get your tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, online at eventpro.ky, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Funky Tangs on Shedden Road, Rotarian Annie Rose Scott next to Rubis in West End, Cayman Brac. Grand prize $40,000, second prize $4,000, and 6 $1,000 prizes. Event day is Saturday, November 25th at Salty's in Grand Harbor, Red Bay. Your $25 ticket can win Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, a major fundraiser taking care of community projects by Rotary Central. Rotary Central, NPO number 232, creating hope in Cayman and the world.
West Bay Pharmacy. Personalized medicine, customized care to meet your specific needs. Your body is unique to you. Your medicine should be too. Whether you're seeking individual-specific medication, correct size dosages, or simply better tasting medicine, ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider about how compounding at West Bay Pharmacy can increase your treatment options, not only for your family, but for your pets too. West Bay Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sundays and most holidays from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
CUC Advisory. Customers are advised of a scheduled outage on Friday, November 10th between 9 a.m. and 12 noon for portions of Prospect Drive in Prospect, including Bonnie View Avenue, Rosemary Street, Bay Island Avenue, Loch Lomond Way, Ripon Drive, Oxford Close, Bayside Court, Roxborough Street, and Rock Crest Street. For more information, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Before we went to the commercial break, I was sharing with you this press release from the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure on Cabinet's approval for transformative amalgamation, and it has to do with the transport system. So again, this is one paragraph you probably would have heard before, but it's, I want to integrate this with the rest of the release. As part of its commitment to holistic transportation improvements, the ministry is also excited to announce the imminent launch of the National Road Safety Strategy this week. The Cabinet approved the national strategy will be integral to our vision of creating safer roads and reducing the incidence of traffic accidents and injuries across the islands. And they say to stay tuned for this pivotal development in our journey towards a more secure and responsible transportation system. Goes on to say that this integration is a testament of the ministry's holistic approach to transportation policy, which has been meticulously developed since transportation was added to the ministry's portfolio in April of this year. The ministry is committed to constructing a modern, efficient, and sustainable transport network, anticipating and facilitating the needs of a rapidly growing population, of which projections could reach 100,000 residents. The release then goes on to say, harnessing insights from Deloitte's comprehensive report, the ministry will make informed, data-driven decisions that will underpin the future transportation blueprint for the Cayman Islands. This effort is complemented by the valuable input of a dedicated transportation team comprising experts from the UK's Department of Transport, who are instrumental in formulating strategies to revamp public transportation into a more accessible and efficient one. Here's the good part, folks. In alignment with the ministry's core values of inclusivity and transparency, the release of Deloitte's report today, along with the official release of the National Road Safety Strategy on the 10th of November, represents a pivotal moment for public discourse. So this press release was issued, find the date on it, says the 6th of November. So the Deloitte report was released on the 6th of October. The ministry encourages the community to engage, fostering a collaborative environment where every voice contributes to the safety of our roads and the evolution of our transportation system. Under the heading Embarking on a Journey of Transformation, it says, with the unwavering support of internal and external stakeholders, the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure is forging ahead with determination and vision. The next 6 months will be a period of ambitious projects and strategic developments, all aimed at delivering a transportation system that meets the community's current and future needs. And if you want additional information and updates, you can visit www.gov.ky, or you can go on www.ky/PAHI, their website as well. If you want to know more about the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, says that under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Joanny J. Ebanks, the Ministry of PAHI is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life and economic prosperity of the Cayman Islands through comprehensive planning, sustainable agriculture, efficient housing solutions, and critical infrastructural development. Our mission is to create a resilient and thriving future for all residents and visitors. So, folks, based on this release, the Deloitte report was released. as well as the National Road Safety Strategy, which will be released on the 10th of November as well. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, as you heard earlier, Minister Bryan will be in the studio with us as well, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. And as you know, Minister Bryan also not shy about having the calls come in and answer those sometimes hard and difficult questions as well. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59.
Get ready to savor the season this Thanksgiving with Foster's.
Say goodbye to the stress of cooking and hello to a delicious holiday feast. Choose your main from 12-hour smoked pork, oven-roasted turkey, or maple glazed ham. Then mix and match your sides with options like scalloped potatoes, mac and cheese, steamed herb vegetables, and more.
And don't forget the dessert. Choose from a selection of mouth-watering pies.
All from just $94.99. Order online at fosters.ky or in-store.
This Thanksgiving, savor the season with Foster's.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Cabinet commissions the Infrastructure Ministry to create a business case with a view of potentially creating a Department of Transportation. Government says the review will take a, quote, critical view of the National Roads Authority, the Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing, and the Public Transport Unit. The PAC-led administration says this will pave the way for an integrated entity dedicated to organizing, designing, and maintaining all Cayman Islands transportation facets. Alongside this, the ministry has also announced the launch of the National Road Safety Strategy later this week, which will be, quote, integral to a vision of creating safer roads and reducing the incidence of traffic accidents and injuries across all three Cayman Islands. Also, the long-awaited Deloitte report, which was commissioned by government back in 2022 to assess a public transportation strategy, specifically as it relates to a public bus system, has also been published online at gov.ky. The Financial Services Minister offers up an update on Cayman's Beneficial Ownership Transparency Bill, which was gazetted back in August but hasn't yet been passed into law.
The Beneficial Ownership Transparency Bill, which is published now, does three things, but two are the largest part of the bill. Streamlining the beneficial ownership rules into one act, and then two, the ministry and the policy team anticipate the FATF rules around or standards around beneficial ownership will move in the fifth round in 2025, where we may be assessed again in 2026.
In addition, the Honorable Andre Ebanks says a, quote, small portion of the bill deals with whether or not there can be regulations relating to the public access of certain data. The hiccup there is a recent judgment in the European Court of Justice back in November last year, which struck down full beneficial public accessible registers.
The reason that gave not just Cayman, but I think a number of the other overseas territories and the Crown dependencies pause is because our Constitution is similarly arranged as the European Convention on Human Rights. Therefore, it follows that if we were to introduce a similar piece of legislation, the government could be challenged as to whether or not that legislation of full public accessible registers is compatible with the Bill of Human Rights.
Beneficial ownership is a term used to describe those who ultimately own or control an asset like a property or company. The Financial Services Minister says this EU decision, quote, put pause to government's plans to pass the bill because if it is introducing a similar piece of legislation, government could be challenged as to whether or not legislation of full public accessible registers is compatible with Cayman's Bill of Rights. Mr. Ebanks was not able to provide a timetable for when the bill will be heading to Parliament. You can find it online at legislation.gov.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas.
More than a month after the conflict began in Israel and Gaza, the US Secretary of State has outlined what should happen when the fighting stops. Antony Blinken said Gaza and the West Bank should both be governed by the Palestinian Authority. He told a meeting of G7 foreign ministers that there should be no Israeli occupation of Gaza. The deputy leader of the Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon has praised the attack last month by Hamas, which sparked the fighting. Hezbollah's deputy chief told the BBC the killings were an act of resistance. 1,400 people died, most of them civilians. China's vice president says there are signs of improving relations with the US. There are unconfirmed reports that the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, will meet President Biden next week in San Francisco. The European Union's executive has recommended opening formal membership talks with Ukraine and Moldova. The president of the European Commission hailed what she called Ukraine's excellent progress, even as it fought for its existence against Russia. The president of Azerbaijan has overseen a military parade in Nagorno-Karabakh weeks after the army seized the enclave from ethnic Armenian separatists. The event took place in the main town. Almost the entire ethnic Armenian population has fled. The interim Prime Minister of Pakistan has accused Afghans, who he says are in the country illegally, of spreading unrest. Islamabad has ordered the removal of hundreds of thousands of undocumented Afghans. The authorities in Delhi have shut all schools in the Indian capital for an extended period in the latest response to hazardous air pollution. They'll remain closed until the 18th of November. That's the latest world news from the BBC.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Time to text the group chat. Direct flights from Grand Cayman to Barbados are officially here. Starting October 18th, you can now plan your Barbados getaway or family reunion with a non-stop flight via Cayman Airways. Weekly flights starting October 18th and twice weekly flights on Tuesdays and Thursdays begin November 7th, 2023. To book your flight today, call Cayman Airways Reservations at 1-800-422-9626 or book online at CaymanAirways.com. So pack your bags and get ready. Barbados is now closer than ever.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets are red hot and moving. Somebody's going to win, and why not you? Get your tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, online at eventpro.ky, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Funky Tangs on Shedden Road, Rotarian Annie Rose Scott next to Rubis in West End, Cayman Brand. Grand prize $40,000, second prize $4,000, and 6 $1,000 prizes. Event day is Saturday, November 25th at Salty's in Grand Harbor, Red Bay. Your $25 ticket can win Rotary Central Music Extravaganza, a major fundraiser taking care of community projects by Rotary Central. Rotary Central, NPO number 232, creating hope in Cayman and the world.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That, unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets.
At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 81%. The barometric pressure is 29.93 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 8 knots. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate northeasterly winds and seas expected across the Cayman area, with higher gusts by Thursday morning in association with a high-pressure system over the southeast United States. Satellite images show a few low to upper-level clouds across the Cayman area. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today and tonight, calling for mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures today will be in the upper 80s and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Low tide will be this afternoon at 1. High tide again this evening at 6:41. The sun will set this evening at 5:47 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:31. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
Hi, my AC just went out and I need someone to come fix it.
I'm sorry, we're closed.
Okay, what about tomorrow?
We're only open on Thursday. And we're fully booked.
Have anything next week?
No.
Okay, when can you send someone out?
The 22nd is open.
I'll take it.
Of December 2023.
With the best medical cover for your dollar, we're like an AC technician who isn't too busy for you. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong series. The Cayman Strong series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking, change your life. There's no great success without commitment.
As motivational speaker, Tony, individuals who succeed have a belief in the power of commitment. If there's a single belief that seems almost inseparable from success, it's that there's no great success without commitment. If you look at successful people in any field, you'll find they're not necessarily the best and the brightest, the fastest and the strongest. You'll find they're the ones with the most commitment.
Change your thinking. Change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong series. The Cayman Strong series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic is heavy on the Linford Pearson Highway, also on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Coming off of Esteli Tibbetts Highway, steady traffic on North Sound Road as well. Heading towards the Industrial Park area, traffic is moderate. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic and on to Huldah Avenue. As we look to Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately in both directions. From the West Bay 4-way stop, flowing nicely. Edward Street, no issues. on Owen Roberts Drive, light to moderate traffic flow. And that's the very latest on your traffic. And just a closer look at Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, moderate flow of traffic in both directions. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or ticket.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Water Authority Cayman would like to advise its valued customers that its offices in both Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac will be closed on Friday, the 10th of November for a staff function and will reopen on Tuesday, the 14th of November following the Remembrance Day holiday. Cayman Brac customers are encouraged to plan ahead and make truck water orders in advance. There will be limited truck water deliveries on Friday the 10th of November, Saturday the 11th of November, and Monday the 13th of November. Truck water orders received by the end of business day on Thursday the 9th of November but are not delivered on Friday 10th of November will be carried over to Saturday the 11th of November or Monday the 13th of November. Only truck water orders that meet the authority's emergency criteria will be accepted for delivery on the following dates and will incur an emergency fee. Friday the 10th of November, Saturday the 11th of November, Sunday 12th of November, and Monday the 13th of November. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause and thanks the public for your patience and understanding.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to have Minister Bryan in the studio with us in a bit. Meanwhile, one of our listeners wanted to know, send the link to Radio Cayman. So you can download the Radio Cayman app from the App Store, or you can Google Radio Cayman. And if you're using a computer, and or go to YouTube and find us live on YouTube as well. Hope that helps. If it doesn't, please get back to us. Okay, last week, I believe it was last week Friday, I mentioned the fact that we see more and more private schools being established in the Cayman Islands. We know that our education system is being challenged, is being stressed at this point in time. You've seen the figures in terms of the number of dependents of government workers who are on contract, who are attending government schools. We know that in the private schools as well, those persons who are on work permits are basically required to have their children who are school age attend private schools as well. And while many said 100,000 population, we don't want that. Whether some may consider it wishful thinking or otherwise, it appears as if that 100,000 population is on the horizon if we continue to grow our population, artificially grow our population the rate that we are doing at this point in time. We are acting as if we are a receiving country rather than a small island where, because of the massive amount of development, we need people to work in the Cayman Islands. People to work in the Cayman Islands. Working in the Cayman Islands, completely different from deciding to make the Cayman Islands your home and residing here. That is why I, again, advocate for the separation of the work permit process and the permanent residence process as well. So when I commented about the private schools and also voiced my concern about, creating a society where there then becomes distinctions, pretty close to class distinctions, as well. Because as you know, if you attend Cambridge or Oxford University or Harvard or Yale, completely different than if you attend some other school that doesn't have the prominence and the name recognition, and people treat you different as a result of that. So to a certain extent, we are creating classes by doing this. And when I say classes, I don't mean classes as they relate to classrooms. I'm talking about having a stratified society. So this person wrote and said, "Good morning. This was on Friday, and I promised them I didn't have time to read it then, but if I was unable to read it on Friday, that I will do so on another occasion, and no better occasion to read this now, and I hope and I trust that the writer is listening." The person said, "Good morning, OC. As a proud graduate of the Cayman Islands High School, now John Gray High School, class of 1975, and I must say that I was there before you. I was there in the 60s. I know the advantage of," and this is the writer now, they go on to say, "I know the advantages of an all-inclusive education system. All socioeconomic levels were taught through the same system. The poor, the rich, the middle income, politicians, doctors, lawyers, and lower income families, etc. They were all given equal opportunities to succeed. This current separation/segregation of the education system is not beneficial to Caymanian society." So I wanted to share that with you. And of course, some of these educational institutions do get some sort of subsidy, I believe, from the government of the Cayman Islands as well. I think the argument behind that at one point in time, and I stand to be corrected, and if someone can share that information with me, I would be more than happy to share it with our audience as well. But it was seen in the past that the private institutions were sort of relieving some of the pressures on the government schools. And as a result of that, because most of them were either not for profit, or if they were for profit, their profit margins may have been thin or non-existent. And the government saw fit to financially support these institutions as well. Don't forget, there was one, Prep. Remember when First Baptist Church right there on Smith Road? Government purchased that, I don't know how many of you know that government purchased that. And then that particular government handed it over to PrEP. I'm going to divert a little bit. Found in my journalistic Bible, I will call it my journalistic Bible, not my religious Bible, but my journalistic Bible, the Tradewinds newspaper. I don't know how many of those who are involved in PrEP now know that when, and I forget the name of the couple who were here in the Cayman Islands, but they made a huge donation to PrEP for them to get their new building started. And they then required either the PrEP, the parents, the organization, to raise an equal amount of money in terms of what they were going to donate to PrEP, and that helped to get their building fund started. When I do find that in the Tradewinds newspaper again, I will share that with you, just a bit of historical information as well. But we have to be careful here in the Cayman Islands that if we don't have some sort of policy in place for these private schools, then we may end up here in the Cayman Islands having to introduce and to implement some form of affirmative action for Caymanians. For those of you who haven't looked at today's Cayman Compass, again, talks about the figures there where Caymanians are outnumbered. That, folks, should be an alarming situation to all of us. Now, I haven't looked into the details of that, whether or not we are outnumbered by the persons who now have permanent residence, or does that include the work permit holders as well? Because if it includes the work permit holders, then all is not lost. We can still do something about that if there is the political will. If there is the political will to do so, we can do something about that. So far, we have heard talk about it. We have seen some form of action, but we haven't seen any results yet because the necessary actions have not been taken to address the work permit system in the Cayman Islands as it relates to a person's ability to transition from a work permit holder whose work permit has to be renewed either every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years, up to a maximum of 8 or 9 years. And taking those work permits and saying, that allows you to work. If you want to reside in the Cayman Islands on a permanent basis, unless there is some sort of connection, Caymanian connection, you will not be able to reside in the Cayman Islands, just unless you are a person of independent means, which means that you have the ability to take care of yourself, cover your medical insurance, cover everything, not having to go down to the NAU when times get hard, when economic times get hard, to seek assistance. That, folks, is not what our offer of permanent residence was intended for people to now, you may say, well, they didn't have anything to do with that. They came upon bad times. And millionaires can come on bad times as well, depending on whether or not they make bad decisions, bad investment decisions, or whatever. But if someone now who has permanent residence has to go down to NAU for assistance, that means that they really, really weren't qualified or ready to assume permanent residence in the first place. So we have to separate the whole issue of persons coming to work in the Cayman Islands because we need them to work, because we don't have a large enough workforce to cover all of the demands, and those persons who want to reside here on a permanent basis without, and I repeat, folks, without the ability of having to work in the Cayman Islands. We have to pursue that option. That is the only option that we have at this point in time, because it is not sustainable for us to continue to artificially grow the population of the Cayman Islands. We see what is happening already, the stresses on our education system, the stresses on our medical facilities here in the Cayman Islands, especially those that are government-owned. The private ones are not going to complain, because either you have your insurance coverage or you don't. And we have heard many people say that some of those private medical entities, they're not accepting Cynical. So they're not too concerned, because they're going to have paying customers, paying patients. So we see the stresses on our education system. We see the stresses on our medical system. We see the other infrastructural stresses, our roads, and everything else. Which brings me to a point, but I have to take a commercial break. Anyone coming from the east see that contraption that they have set up there at the entrance to Spots Newlands and those bollards that are there? What is wrong with our driving that we have to make sure that we put lanes in such a way and bollards so that people must stay in their lanes? Does it mean because they can't drive otherwise, unless we have those bollards there, they can't stay between those white lines or between the white and the yellow lines? I don't know. Maybe you have the answer to that, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have our very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. You won't see him if you're following us on YouTube, but he's in the studio, Minister Kenneth Bryan. We'll have him behind the mic in a few minutes. Meanwhile, do I need to share anything with you? No, I don't, because he is right here. So, Minister, again, good morning. It was nice of you to call in earlier as well and wish Miss O'Meara happy birthday. I saw her being featured on Facebook, as well. So thank you.
She is definitely a superstar in our Cayman community. So I want to again wish her a very special birthday today. I got to see her and give her a hug and get her some flowers and stuff today. She's such a sweet person. She guides me. She keeps me in favor of the good Lord, and reminds me that, without God, we don't have much strength. And so she's a really good guiding light for me. She's actually my lighthouse in most days. So happy birthday again to her. OC, it's a pleasure to be on the show, and I hope those who are listening are prepared to be interactive today. Today's discussion is not about anything specific, but to listen to the people. I think that you can see a concerted effort from many of the members who have been coming on the show on Fridays, and even when there's a gap on a Wednesday.
Short notice.
Short notice. Because, we're going through a lot politically, economically, our own status as Caymanians and the growth that we're having and a lot of things. And people have a lot of thoughts and viewpoints, and they need to be able to get them expressed. And simple as this radio may be, is a very effective tool to hear back from the people. And I always say that I'm not afraid to come on the radio. Take the licks that you have to get, but it helps you to improve and change and make amendments, because remember, we're here to serve the people. We're not here to serve ourselves. So today is a listening opportunity from the public. So I want those phone lines ringing up. I wanted to have Minister Jay with me this morning, but he's coming on Friday with you. But he's currently off island and be back later on this evening.
Okay.
To talk about anything that is relevant. But I know that there's been some viewpoints on a couple of different things in the community. Crime is one of them. What's happening with Pirates Week is another. So some of these topics I'll be covering this morning and hopefully give some answers to, so the public can feel a little bit better about it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, when you were on last, the question was raised about the Deloitte report, and I shared with our audience this morning the press release from the ministry about the Deloitte report and the safer roads strategy
correct.
As well. So that was quite timely. I don't know if I won't speculate. I'll just say I don't know, when you were asked the question, whether or not you knew about it, but you certainly didn't want to steal the minister's thunder,
correct.
As well. So
that's the thing, right? I mean, it's about a matter of respecting your colleagues and trying to give them the opportunity, even if you know that if you happen to be on a public radio or in a public place to speak, that you recognize their authority and also our leader, the Honorable Premier's authority to speak. But sometimes that can come off as if that you don't want to answer a particular question. And matter of fact, I'll take this opportunity to speak about some things that's happening with the Pirates Week, and it's hard to call it week because there's been some amendments since the minister has taken charge of it, and it's now Pirates Fest. And just to say to the public that the Honourable Minister, I just spoke to him on the phone on my way here, will be on Dwayne Sterling's show later on this week to address any concerns, but to say to the public that the Heritage Days are not cancelled totally.
Okay.
He'll give the context of what's happening within his ministry with his chief officer and so forth, and what the decisions were made for the Heritage Days. I just want to make sure the public knows that, I am here to support the minister in any capacity, because there was a level of Parks Week associated with tourism. But under the last administration, it was split. So the minister's choices, he will explain to the public as to why. There's some financial and budgeted reasoning, as well as timing, according to him. But he'll answer those questions, and to know that the public know that every minister is here to support him in respect to making sure those things happen, and that he's still committed to the Heritage Days.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the honorable member there.
Good morning, sir. How art thou?
Good morning, sir.
I'm good. Apparently, it seems like I've been blocked. Like you must have instruction. Susan must receive instructions to put a muzzle on me.
We're actually using artificial intelligence to to detect you, to identify you.
I can also start my own talk show too, because with all the feedback that I'm getting, everybody tell me they listens to me when I'm on your show.
Okay,
So
I got to remember that.
Because of me, your ratings have gone up, apparently.
Remember now, we do, it's not the likes that we're about. We're about the love, not the likes.
well, it sounds like I'm getting a lot of likes. Minister.
Yes, sir.
I want you to know that Pirates Week was created by our elderly people with less resources than we have, and it became an international event. People as far as Seattle, Baltimore Buccaneers, Tampa Buccaneers, everybody look forward to come here. All the fire officers from South Florida that I'm not affiliated with, but because of my connection with the fireworks, my contact used to bring all those fire officers. They would come down here for the Pirates Week, right? We also even knew the faces of the Seattle Pirates that they came so often. Now they called me. I got Ken Thompson called me a couple of days ago. Want to find out our friends from in the South America and Central America want to find out which day they can come, because you remember last year they had it for about 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Nobody knew exactly what was happening. So I'm saying that if all the other people could come back today and see what we done to Earth, what we had called National Festival that was created to bring people to this island, which it did. It actually did that. It did exactly what it was designed to do, right? And we all live for Pirates Week. a lot of the elderly, some of the elderly inter-church people was disenchanted with the word Pirates Week, and then they changed the District Pirates Day to Heritage Day, and that was accepted. Then the churches and everybody started taking part in selling their food and everything. Everybody looks forward to especially Heritage Day, right? Now for us to come and defeat the purpose of changing the title to Heritage Day so it could be accepted, now we're going and eliminate the heritage part of it, the Heritage Day. What kind of foolishness that is?
Well,
and wait a minute. Why is it moved? If it wasn't part of our heritage, right? Pirates not part of our heritage. Why is it moved then from tourism that was designed to bring people here to heritage, the Ministry of Heritage? Tell me that.
Well, you make some valid points, Graham, and I want to indulge and interact with you. I don't want you to go because I can see where much of the challenge to make it acceptable by as many people as possible has arisen. Because I've never been involved in Pirates Week. I've just been a consumer of the festivities over the years. But I've seen the public review and dislike about certain things, and you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. But our job is to try to make as many people happy as possible. So you've heard about the conflicts of, Pirates Week is supporting something that was negative because the history behind pirates. Then you heard it's not a part of our culture for the carnival wine up and dine up thing. And then you heard, the district days and heritage component came on later on. You just said that, but some people don't want the cultural component associated with the storyline behind Pirates Week, and so you're trying to make everybody happy with these different angles, and the amendments that I think the minister is trying to accomplish is how best to do this. Some people say Pirates Week was created for a tourism component. Okay, so if it was for a tourism component and it was working, sometimes you see people are not happy that we support it, but it was doing what it was supposed to do, which is bring guests and visitors.
Especially, and I think what people fail to remember also, that was a period of time when you had a clear distinction between the high season and the low season.
Correct.
And during the slow season was designed to attract people to the Cayman Islands as well.
Correct.
That's part of the initial design.
I think I recognize that obviously all elected members and minister included is paying close attention to the public reaction to changes, because some things have changed from Pirates Week to Pirates Fest, which over a longer period of time, and also the unfortunate decision that was made for the cultural days this year to not happen. And I think he does have a plan of action. I spoke to him earlier, and I don't want to take his thunder away because he plans to be on Sterling's show, and it's his area of responsibility. But he did indicate that the cultural component is trying to be transferred to a different time, and I think he said something about the Emancipation Day. But again, it's for him to speak to. But he still I don't think you'll ever find somebody who's more supportive of culture in the political arena other than him and Isaac. I think they're both very strong cultural supporters of our heritage. So I know that. Hello?
We're going to go to the commercial break. We're going to ask Lord Graham to hold on while we take this commercial break, because otherwise, he'll say that not artificial intelligence, OC intelligence cut him off as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
So much happening so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
Ahoy, ye landlubbers. This Saturday, November 11th, navigate your way to Hogstye Bay to see our boat sail the high seas of Grand Cayman in our cardboard boat regatta. Crash the shores of Georgetown to get your ARG on for the Las Tortugas Pirates Landing and Float Parade starting at 3 p.m. But first, prepare to walk the plank and swim. Sign up for the Flowers Harbor half-mile swim on Monday, November 13th. Sponsored by Flowers Group, Cayman Airways, Bacardi, Corona, Pepsi, and the Cayman Islands Aquatic Sports Association.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're now going to resume our call with the caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, the caller is still here.
Go right ahead.
I'd like the minister to, I don't know what happened to the posters that was all displayed in the Paris Week's office out there by the Marin's branch store there. But if you was to go back and look at photos, or those posters would be the easiest thing to look at, and see that thousands and thousands and thousands of people that line the waterfront in the hot sun on the day of the landing, what we call the Pirates Landing. And all those people wasn't Caymanians. There were people came in to the island. I remember having to book my friends from one year to the next, and the only place that I could get booked was with my good friend Peanut, Gary Ruddy, at the Comfort Suite. That's the only place I could get accommodation. Everywhere else was packed. So you as a minister of tourism should be happy to bring that back under your ministry so that you can increase, because you always talking about increasing numbers and patting yourself on the back for numbers going up. That would take you way, way over the top. Now you could pat yourself on the back and say, look at how much the tourists went up this year. How about that? What do you say about that?
I mean, there is obviously a benefit from a tourism perspective, but again, respecting the minister who currently has it, and if there needs to be some amendments to the way we're seeing this, then we can do that. We can talk about that within our grouping. I want to respect the minister because the cultural component that he's committed to, I can swear on that. He's committed to that. He's trying his best to please everybody's viewpoints, because you had different angles. You see, the other angle that people are not hearing is some people are happily, but quietly happily saying, boy, I'm glad you move away from that pirates nonsense, and while others are saying, well, why are you moving away from the pirates? Now, the cultural component or the Heritage Days has hit a nerve with many, and I think the minister will address that and give commitment to that when he appears on the radio. But I want to say this, that in my speakings with the minister and within our group, that there is room for analysis and come back and say, well, boy, are we doing this the best way that is best for the country, as well as our history, as well as the tourism component? So I think there's definitely going to be discussions. But right now, the Pirates Week is here. Our Pirates Fest is here. Let's get through with what the minister is doing now. And if we need to do some recalibration of it and think it through and maybe go back to what it was before, I don't know. I remember now the minister is the lead in this respect, and he has to be given that respect and that support. So we'll have that post-analysis, and I'm there to support him as Minister of Tourism. Whatever he needs, we'll talk it through. Sometimes the criticisms may be hard. It's important that the politicians hear it, because then they can understand that, okay, whether you're on the right track or if you're on the wrong track. And I know that he's listening, and I know that many of my other members are listening. So for those who have viewpoints on this, don't be afraid to call or text your ministers or text your members and say your viewpoints, so we can amend or fix or improve or stay on track, whatever it may be, because we're here to represent you. So that's all I can add to that until the minister speaks.
Before I go, I just want to say that OC touched on it and said it did exactly what it was supposed to do, bring people to the island. After Pirates Week, we're not influenced by Pirates Week in a way that after Pirates Week, we run around dressed up like pirate and carrying on and doing stuff like pirates. It was just a gimmick created to bring people to the island. And we should continue with that, because there's a lot of people out there that would like to come but don't know when to come and don't know if we're going to have it. We need to continue that, because the pirates that we should be looking at is those pirates that jump off the plane with their little briefcase. Them little briefcase developers, they're the pirates. The other pirates that come here, they come and take part in the festivities and enjoy themselves, and they get on the plane and go back and book to come back the next year and bring money to the country. Not those that come and you people give them all these concessions. Not what I'm talking about, on a strap for cash, and they can't have the Pirates Week sauce because of finance shortage and all this kind of thing. Get all that concession from those people, and let's have a Pirates Week back.
Well, I think it's important to let that...
Listen, I got a suggestion. Put it back out the office back out there, and give me the job to run it. How about that? How about that?
You can't say you didn't make an offer.
Yeah, it's not my place to make that decision. But I...
You're not a big minister. You don't
I'm a minister, but...
You don't understand what I hear on the radio? Sound you premier?
No. I'm just trying to make sure that the communication with the public is relevant. Both myself and Jay have committed to making sure we speak to the public as often as we can, because that communication with our people is important. So that's why you'll either see myself or Jay or Isaac on a regular basis, and we're committed to that. And moving forward, we've made a conscious decision about that. But in respect to what you have said about it, I'm certain that we're going to have some more discussions with the minister and see how best to make sure that everybody is happy. All right?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lord Graham. Good conversation. Good suggestions as well. Minister?
Yeah. Thank you so much again, Graham. I wanted to step into another area of concern that, as we are trying to respond to the public's concerns. We're all politicians are on the social vines and the social platforms, and we hear whether it's WhatsApp groups or whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, and we hear. So don't ever think that the politicians are not paying attention. They may not respond right away, but they are listening and they are watching. And everybody tries to do the delicate balance of saying something without getting criticisms for it. Thankfully, myself and Jay are people, we're able to take the licks and not afraid to say, okay, I got that wrong, or if I got that right, so we are more willing to come out and speak. And then with that being said, there is something that has come up recently that has drawn a level of concern, which is the Cabinet post-meeting summary, which talked about two things, and it seems to have gone viral, which is on the 17th of October, there was an approval by Cabinet to approval granted by circulation on the 10th of October for the issuance of a conditional exemption from gainful occupation requirements for a non-Caymanian pursuant to Section 53(1)B of the Immigration Transition Act 2022. Now that, without context, sounds terrible. Because people be like, yeah, you're giving these people, they don't have to go through the work permit process or any kind of process to do it. We're exempting it through a cabinet position. And a cabinet summary is the right thing to do, and I support the Premier's thought process to start the cabinet post summary to make sure the public always aware of what we're doing in cabinet.
Okay,
Now,
could I interrupt you there for a second and say, why not, like some other jurisdictions have if the politicians don't want to do it, have the cabinet secretary host a press conference to go over, because a little bit more can be shared in those briefings. For instance, you see many talk about block and parcel numbers of either purchases by government or otherwise, but you don't have a description of where they are. So unless you have access to the lands and survey system, or unless you're a realtor who knows these block and parcel numbers, you don't know, where
exactly
from the man on the moon where exactly that is as well. So it would be good to put the cabinet secretary out there. He doesn't have to be political, but he can give a little bit more detail.
I would agree with you there, OC, particularly because you are a former cabinet secretary and you understand this probably even better than I do. But what is important here is it's not my call to make. I have to respect,
just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I have to respect my Premier, and it's something for us to think about. And I'm certain that once we go back to caucus and I can bring it up to the Premier and say, is this something we can consider? Or even if the cabinet secretary want to deal with it, yes?
Okay, folks, top of the hour, headline news. When we return, the conversation with the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, Minister with Constitutional Responsibility for Tourism and Ports. I almost said transport, and ports will continue, so please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
A Deloitte report commissioned by government to assess a public transport strategy, specifically as it relates to the public bus system, has been published online at gov.ky. This comes as the PAC-led government announces plans for a business case with a view of potentially creating a Department of Transportation. Ohio voted to enshrine abortion rights in its constitution on Tuesday, marking a major victory for pro-choice campaigners in the state. The BBC's U.S. partner CBS News projected a decisive victory for the amendment. Early returns showed almost 56% of voters in the conservative-leading state had backed it. Its success is likely to bolster Democrats' hopes that abortion rights remain a winning issue ahead of elections in 2024. And it's now, quote, virtually certain that 2023, a year of deadly heat waves, floods, and fires, will be the warmest on record. The prediction follows, quote, exceptional high October temperatures. Global average air temperatures were 0.4 degrees Celsius warmer than the previous high of October 2019, according to the EU's Climate Change Service. Driven by carbon emissions and an El Nino weather event, this is the fifth month in a row of record warm temperatures. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians, offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI-accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Minister Kenneth Bryan. We have a caller, but the minister wants to conclude the discussion that he started.
Correct. And caller, I need you to bear with me. I really want to get to you, but because I already started this topic, I want to finish it up. So there is a Cabinet Post summary paper that has been released. And just to give you context for the public who's listening, our government decided in the transparency component, like no other government has ever done before, to give a summary of what has transpired in Cabinet. Before, nobody knew what was going on at all. And I want to salute the Premier for that decision. But that decision has also had some negatives to it because we can't give you all the details as to specifics to what happened in Cabinet. So we give you some summary just so you can know what's going on. But you can't give every detail because Cabinet is a sacred meeting. And as a result, one Cabinet summary has gone out and has created much of a stir. And there's two parts in it, and this is to do with a Cabinet meeting that was held on the 17th of October. And in it, there's two parts. One where a person was exempt from the work permit process or immigration process. And the second one was a person was given the opportunity to do the legal practitioners articleship in Cayman. Now, there is a reason behind both of them. And what you don't know in this post summary is the fact of the stories behind it. So the first one of the exemption had to do with a person who has sought asylum. And I don't want to get into the specifics, but it was a person that we saw in the circumstances and from the humanitarian perspective, this person needed an opportunity to be able to work in the Cayman Islands and survive
And they hadn't been granted political asylum yet.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So without given the legal right to work, then it becomes the burden on the state. So when you think about it, would you rather us just pay to take care of the person or give them an exemption under the circumstances until all of that is clarified as to what's going on for them to work and pay for themselves?
Right.
So
would that have been an exemption with conditions?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say much more than that.
Okay.
So I just want to give context. It's not like we're giving some special person out there an exemption to come and work in Cayman and take over our people's businesses. It's not quite like that. And that's why sometimes we have to come on and clarify these things. And in the second approval that has created much controversy, it was talking about approved in accordance with the Legal Practitioners Student Regulations 2018 revision, the applicant for a non-Caymanian to be permitted to register for articles of clerkship. Now, normally, only Caymanians can do that. But this applicant, the Cabinet has its discretion to allow somebody if they can present forward some good reason compelling arguments. And in this case, the person wasn't Caymanian, but had very, very close Caymanian connections. And it's the closest thing to Caymanian you could get without them actually being Caymanian. And they're probably well on their way to being Caymanian. And honest to God, if I could call the name, you'd be like, oh, that totally makes sense. So you don't get the context of this approval without the story behind it. So we are very agile. We're very, very specific as to if there's an exemption that we're going outside of the protocols of the law or the regulation, why we would do that within our discretion as a cabinet. So I can promise you that though it may seem just in a simple black and white form that it could look like something funny is going on behind the scenes, it is not the case. This particular person, in all right, and I'm quite sure that person will eventually possibly tell the public who they are and why the government of the day thought it would be prudent to give this person an opportunity. They're part of our community, and I'm certain that once it becomes a reality, and that's for that person to say, that people will totally understand. With that being said, I don't want to hold up the caller any longer.
All right, let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, MP Bryan. How are you this morning? OC?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, my national icon. How are you?
Not too bad. Good to see you. Listen to you.
You too, Mr. Bryan. Just a quick statement, not a suggestion or anything, but Lord Graham called in, and I agree with him 100%. You need to bring the culture back in the community. It's not there. It's leaving us slowly. Our children do not know what's happening. It's not being taught in the schools. But on another note, I want to say it all in one word, then you can answer afterwards. How about when we had Alvin McLaughlin and all of them that has all of those old-time items, artifacts for the Cayman Islands that be on display, and I'm sure that he's not capable of doing too much this year, but he will loan you all of those stuff for display, and you have to get Graham back in there. Like they're saying, Graham should be in charge. Graham has been doing Pirates Week from time I know myself, and he's older than me, and he knows how the routine works. The East End floats awesome. The West Bay float, the Georgetown floats were awesome. You all need to bring that back into the culture. I know what you said, and you're trying to differentiate the days. The days doesn't make it. That big Saturday is the big boom. And that Saturday, all like he said, the Seattle Pirates and all over the world, people are traveling. You will have flights full. Your Cayman Airways will be able to pay their bills. Come on, MP Bryan, Captain Bryan, let's just get this ship on the roll. We need back our culture. We need you to do an extra day for our culture. Remember one day you did one in town and brought all the Caymanians back with Craig riding his bicycle, the old pots cooking and all of that. We need this back. We need you to bring this back.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for your confidence in me. I really appreciate that. I do agree that there is more opportunity available for us to be even more boisterous in our cultural displays. But I want to give the level of respect to the minister to give his opinion as to where things are at in that messaging when he comes on Sterling's show later this week. But anything that I can do within my context as Minister of Tourism to support him and to support this initiative, I will do so. Specifically to the question about the fun day, the way called the Hogstye Bay Day that we initiated, I'm happy to announce today that Hogstye Bay Day is coming back in February of next year. My committee has already started the organization and the plans and trying to put together a budget of what it would cost for us to do it and all the cultural components that we'll be adding. But I want to make sure that is separate and apart from my political, obligations as minister to this government. That was an independent thing that I created with me and my committee. I didn't create it. Actually, my committee and I created it on behalf of Georgetown and the whole of the Cayman Islands. So I don't want to mix that up with my ministerial obligations, because regardless if I'm elected or not, or minister or not, that's something we did for Georgetown, so everybody can be a part of it. But that is coming back, so be excited that in February that we'll be making some announcements, hopefully before the end of Christmas, so people can put it in their vacation time to come down that day. In respect to your point about, bringing the Pirates Week stuff back to help cover for Cayman Airways, I must say that Cayman Airways is doing pretty good. It may not necessarily always look good because sometimes a flight may be not at full capacity or below 50%. But I can promise you the decisions that we're making at CAL through the board and through the CEO are decisions to make sure that we're in a strong financial position for the company. And matter of fact, as I make contributions to the budget debate coming up in December, and I've been given word that it's the first week of December the budget is going to be happening, that you'll hear the details as to where the company is at. And I'm proud to say that it's in a good standing, even if it doesn't look so. It is in good standing because we've made sure put ourselves in guaranteed positions where regardless if people are in planes, the money is coming in. And I'll leave that there for now, but we're here to do whatever it takes to please the people in respect to the Pirates Week and the cultural component.
Okay, one last statement, Mr. Bryan. Regards to Cayman Airways flight attendants, I had a bad experience on the flight. Can we have more Caymanians doing speeches on that flight and reshuffle their speeches? Because we're an English-speaking country. We're not a Spanish country speaking. I understand that you have to hire. We have people that need, but they need to step up with pronouncing their English. I am so sorry to say this on the radio, but you need to be aware you're not there, so you would not know. And there's a lot of mistakes has been made. and I will speak to you off air with that on a separate note. But I thank you so much for answering these questions. Oh, and another thing on the asylum, I hope that's a one-off thing because we will have a big influx here if you don't curve this now because they will be coming from all directions. So that asylum, I hope that's just for one person, be exempted in our community. The other ones should be sent back home because some of them are just really just walking up and down and destroying the country. You need to just have this just for a one-off thing. I am hoping and praying that this is just a one-off written, that someone else cannot go to a law firm and say, okay, that one did that, and I can do it also and follow that protocol. That's how the laws work. So you got to be careful how you all word those things.
I agree.
Yeah, but, Carla, you don't want to confuse the person who's allowed to work, because of the asylum claim and stuff, and the article clerk, which you mentioned,
which is two different things.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Caller, thank you very much.
If I could quickly say, because I know we've got to go to break in a minute and a half, I want to thank the caller so much for those positive comments. Cayman Airways and its team has been doing a fantabulous job. Fantastic. And I'm really, really proud of the employees at Cayman Airways and the board. We are a multicultural jurisdiction. We have many different types of Caymanians, one that we embrace. And sometimes you may have a bit of an accent behind a person's pronunciation, but proper English is important all the same. And I know that we have a new cohort of amazing young cabin crew. And I'm quite sure that they'll as they are growing on the job, they will become better and better at it. So I want them to know they're supported, but I'm certain that the team is there to make sure that they keep on their top professional game in respect to how they carry themselves. In respect to the asylum component, I can promise you that it's not something that's going to become a habit. And there was circumstances that I may not be able to speak to on the radio that made it exceptional and not going to be a reoccurring situation. And that's why the leeway is available for Cabinet to do it only in special circumstances. If there's need to clarify further, I'm happy to do so. And also the premiere is possibly going to be on the radio on Friday. So if you feel that you want more clarity in respect to that, I'm quite sure he can add to it. I just want to make sure that we dispel the behind the scenes dark decision, a viewpoint, because some people are trying to sell it as something that it's not, and try to address it as quickly as possible. It is not as people may try to make it be perceived.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go and flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. Minister Kenneth, Bryan in the studio with me. We have two callers, but I'm trying to balance the calls with the WhatsApp messages as well. One caller. This person has written and said, good morning to all. Hard drugs and crime are running these Cayman Islands. Minister Bryan, I heard you are trying to get bigger fines, and longer jail sentences for littering, but never heard anything about the same for hard drug pushers and armed robbers. Drugs cause crime. Everyone knows drugs and crime are the biggest problems here. We see people looking like zombies. We need something like a 3 strikes and you're out. People caught selling hard drugs and during armed robbery for the 3rd time, they can be sentenced to 30 years in prison. We await the minister's remarks or response.
Okay. Thank you so much for the author of the text. You may have not heard me speak specifically to it because it's not that it's not important, but it doesn't really fall under my area of responsibility. But everything that happens in the Cayman Islands as a representative does fall within the context of my input. But I try to respect the Premier. I respect the Premier, and I also respect his position as well as the Governor's position to talk about certain things. So in respect to crime and the penalties, I would always say that is for the Premier to speak to. You may have heard me talk about littering and increasing the penalties for that because the Beautification Task Force falls under my ministry. But by all means, I'm happy to say my viewpoint on what the author said. I agree. Crime is, unfortunately, in my humble opinion, out of control. I've expressed my concerns to the Honorable Premier. I've expressed my concerns to the Honorable Her Excellency, the Governor. And this is we have to be mindful that under the Constitution, the police report to the Governor. The financial obligation to supporting the police department falls under the Premier's ministry. And the legislation for penalties fall under us as a parliament and a cabinet. I know the Premier is minded to make some discussions and some decisions collectively with the group about stronger penalties with certain areas. But I'm going to respect him to make that call and that announcement when he's ready. But I want us to remember, though, that there is more to just stronger penalties to fix this problem. I always try to ask myself, well, why is it that people are doing certain things? And let's just take robberies, which is at the top of the attention right now as an issue. Mm-hmm. Robberies are to get money. There's other ways to get money, like what everybody else does, which is work and get a job. So then you ask yourself the question, who is it doing the robbery? Is it a Caymanian or non-Caymanian? I always put it in 2 different categories because that's my job. My job is to focus on Caymanians in this country. So if it's a Caymanian, we got to figure out how do we fix this problem, make sure they have an opportunity to provide for themselves and their families so they don't feel the need to do something illegal and harmful to your society, community, or even somebody's life to be able to get money, to be able to provide for themselves and their family. And if it's a non-Caymanian, we need to figure out how we get them out of here and how to stop them, those types of people from coming in here. Mm-hmm. So I don't, though we may think about the penalties component, which is post the event or the crime, we also have to think about before the crime happens, so there's not an environment for somebody to want to commit a crime.
And after as well, after incarceration.
And after incarceration, we spoke about that the last time I was on the radio, which is making sure that when people have committed an offense and rehabilitation that we are giving them has happened, that when they get out, they're not reoffenders. So there is a lot of other things that we can be doing as legislators and elected officials to ensure that there's an environment for Caymanians to succeed. Now that I take full willingness and openness for criticism, because I think we could do better. And we're trying to work on that. But that's a subjective matter. People always say, well, this one is doing good, that not so good, and this administration is, there's a lot of gray area and different angles and different viewpoints for that. So, but specifically for crime, post the event, the area of responsibility falls with the governor's office, with the police department, and the premier with his funding component and obligation as a cabinet to ensure that they have everything that they need. But I always remember, is it Mr. Baines? I can't remember if it was Baines, but a former police commissioner. I was a reporter at the Cayman 27 at the time. And he said, Kenneth, my job is not to prevent crime. My job is to catch criminals if they create a crime. Now, he's not 100% correct, but I understand his logic. His logic is it's for the politicians to create an environment that people are not conducive to commit crimes.
Or where crimes can't thrive.
Can't thrive, right?
Well,
so, and I think that, sadly, we need to, there's some things that we can change, and we are committed to that. I'm not afraid to say we need to do better, because only by admitting a problem can you fix it. And I want to see us focusing more on people who may be vulnerable to committing crime. And I'll be honest here today on public radio, and they'll probably use this against me on the floor of Parliament. But I'm fine with that because I'm being honest. The young people who are maybe involved in this, we need to get out there and give them a helping hand. Everybody goes, why are you not fixing this? The question is, what are you doing to help? And in the business community, a lot of them are rightfully worried and concerned. But I ask the same question as we are trying to fix it and help resolve it. Where is your role in this? How many of these young males been seeking job opportunities and they're not given an opportunity? We have to look at it at all angles. Nobody is faultless in this. Nobody is perfect in this situation. We all have to put our hands together. The police, the politicians, the community, the employers, the churches, your neighbors, everybody. Because the truth is, most times we know where the persons who are vulnerable to commit these things. You may not have evidence of it, but you know, boy, this young man or this young woman need to get some help. Otherwise, they're going to go down a dark road. But I know we have a caller.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add to that, to what people are concerned more about these days is not just the robberies, but it is robbery with aggravation.
Yeah.
That, is scary to people because we know that gun ownership, legal gun ownership in the Cayman Islands is extremely difficult to get. But yet, these criminals are approaching citizens, with handguns.
Well, I know we have a caller, but I want to say this. I want to take this opportunity, please. For the persons who are out there who are Caymanian or part of our society, who may be listening to my voice today, and if you have been involved, plan to be involved, have done something, I want you to think for a second. I know that maybe the immediate gratification of getting a few dollars may come from a place of want or need or just thrill. I don't know. But I want you to know that though what you're doing today can affect the whole country long term. You can damage our society, our economy, our whole model of survival. And you're not only affecting yourself, even if you were to be caught, you're going to affect your mother, your father, your brothers and sisters, potentially if you have any children, because you're going to create an economy where things become harder to survive, and Cayman is no longer going to be an attractive place to live and invest. You know, there's neighboring countries who are crime-ridden, and people don't want to go there. People don't want to invest there. People don't want to work there. They run away from it. And you are contributing to that. I want you to think about that for a second. And I know that sometimes the feel or the want to do something may be motivated from a place of want and need, but reach out to the people around you that love you and know you. And for those people that know these individuals, put pressure on us, the politicians and the employers, to give hope and give a chance to them to provide so they don't feel the need to do these things.
Okay, we're going to grab the caller before we go to our next commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, it's me again.
Okay.
Ossie, and Minister, out in the media, there's this thing about a person was given some exemption or something like that. Everybody is curious about who this person are. I think we need to clarify that. But for right now, I do not want you all to engage me in my dialogue right now. I just want to say a few things.
We dealt with it earlier, Lord Graham. It was the exemption. He's talking about the cabinet post summary. The exemption for a person for the articleships. And it was a person who had close Caymanian connections with family members here, and it just they didn't quite get their Caymanian papers yet, and the government thought it was reasonable that this person is committed to the Cayman Islands, has family connections, actually went to school here. I can't say the name, unfortunately, Graham, because it's not appropriate from a cabinet perspective, and this person we thought was within our discretion, worthy of being given the exemption to do their articleships here.
And it's not the first time that it has
been
done.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Our past administrations have found exceptional circumstances where there have been grants given, and you know, we don't do it on an often basis. I think this probably the second time in the whole 2.5 years that we've been in that this has happened. So it happens, you know, once or twice in every administration, potentially even, you know, a lot more than that. But there are exceptional circumstances where the immigration provisions don't cover a specific area and the discretion is left to cabinet.
Okay, I told you all I don't want you all to engage me in a dialogue.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we have another caller behind you waiting as well.
Right. So don't talk now. Mr. Bryan, also heard you said when my good friend Sherry-Ann called in, you I think your answer to her was when she said it would do good for Cayman Airways. You was very quick to say that the Cayman Finance is in a very good position now, making a lot of money. I think was what you were saying.
The company Cayman Airways Finance is in good position.
Yeah, well, now that you got so much good finance, I think now you should use that to employ a lot of young, beautiful Caymanians on the plane as flight attendant. The reason they're not staying is because of the pay. And now that I heard you got a lot of money, I think you should you could look into that. And another thing, you should look towards people like Shelley Miller, Deborah Miller, Lynn Peguero, those kind of people. Handel Whitaker, Lynn Whitaker from Northside, that wasn't a Cayman Airways flight attendant, but she got that kind of class about her. And Dorte, ex-Cayman, Miss Cayman, they're the people that we should get to try and recruit and train the girls, tell them what's expected about the young Cayman girls and get them on the flight and raise their pay so we can keep them there. So we're happy when we get on the plane and see them on board. All right, another thing, going back to Pirates Week now.
Quickly.
I got to respond to the things that you're saying.
No, but you can read all that down.
Okay. Fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay. Going back to Pirates Week. Even though a lot of visitors came for just the weekend, they also got a part of the culture by witnessing the float parade, because all the floats was built with heritage, protecting heritage. So they got to see the parade of the various districts of displaying their heritage. So even though they didn't get a chance to go to the district, they still got a part of seeing the heritage. So Paris Landing wasn't just a bunch of pirates dressed up and with the swords and stuff. It was also entwined with the heritage too. And I remember they created this competition with the banks and all the businesses where they would have a display, and they had different categories where they would receive prizes and for the best display. And then all the beautiful girls in the bank would dress up in T-shirt for the whole week with those tight fitting jeans. You remember them? Do you remember how them girls are looking them jeans?
No, I don't remember, Graham.
Even if
I ain't falling for that trap. I ain't falling for that trap.
Okay, let's wrap up quickly.
So what I'm saying, we have to do our endeavor best to bring that back.
Well, can I just quickly ask you this last question? Do you think is the Parks Week, the way we have it within 7 days, and you did it in one district each day amongst the week, that was the best way to do it?
Best way to do it.
Okay, I just wanted to know your thoughts.
Let's do it the way our old people tell us. If we would go back to drinking the bush teas and stuff, the way we taught us, we'd be better off. Let's do it the way they told us to do it, the way they created it. Let's stick to that. It worked.
All right.
Okay, caller. Thank you. Thank you very much. Commercial break. We still have another caller on hold. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard the news? Digicel is back with exciting offers that are too good to resist. Activate one of our brand new prepaid or postpaid plans today and experience telecommunications like never before. With more data, dedicated entertainment options like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, and endless social text data for all your favorite platforms. Digicel is here to make sure you stay connected and entertained. Whether you are on a prepaid or postpaid, you will also enjoy dedicated roaming data for the USA, Canada, and the Caribbean. It's all about value, and Digicel has got you covered.
During or after a storm, do not take unnecessary risks like going back into a dangerous area to salvage material possessions or refusing to evacuate. Remember, things can be replaced. People cannot. Visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky for more
Cayman Islands,
survival
clear your
tips.
calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I am good, sir. I'm good. I'm using the WhatsApp call, so that's why probably not coming too good because here on the bracket now, the other calls not available. So
no, you're coming in loud and clear here. We're hearing you clearly.
All right. That's good. That's good. Good morning, they call my nephew.
Good morning, Uncle.
All right. That's quick suggestion I want to make regarding the situation with Mr. Raymond Scott with his home. I know it's a little out of a topic from where we are this morning with Pirates Week and the committee of the heritage and everything else, but it's a concern for me and it's a concern for this gentleman with his family, knowing that the government did develop a banking system in the Cayman Islands that's supposed to support the people of the Cayman Islands. And to know that we have people that are losing their homes, children that are growing up that have nothing to call their own because of these kind of situations happening in our country, for such a small little jurisdiction such as the Three Islands. And we here today are being put out of our own homes because of someone else that has the money to buy our properties, such as Mr. Raymond, that they're going to put him out of his house, that his children can't inherit what his mother left for him, his mother and father left there for him, for their grandchildren, and going to be put out of their home, knowing that the bank is not willing to help unless he has a certain amount of money in order to make a rapid pay down for the foreclosure to stop. This man does not have a solid income. The government doesn't give him no assistance for all the years that he has put out his emergency work, saving hundreds and hundreds of vessels and hundreds and thousands of lives through the seas that cross in the Cayman Islands waters. And it's a sad situation to know that we got to sit down and hear these kind of complaints and hear these kind of remarks from people, knowing that they're going to be losing, not only to the adult feeling the pressure, because the man is under a lot of severe pressure, knowing that all of his income is not going to be valued at anything. All of his property going to be put as sold to someone else. All of these things should not be happening, and they does have no one to reach out to and help this gentleman in his time of need such as this. It's a really, really heart-wrenching time to know that people have to go through this kind of thing in this little Cayman Islands. And yet we sit down and we worry about every corner of this earth.
Okay, Albert, you mind if I give you a little thought process or an angle to look at this from? Obviously, I know Mrs. Scott, and I am familiar with his circumstances. I did speak to the Honorable Premier about my viewpoint about his particular matter. And when we paint a picture of what we've just painted, it can be emotive, it can be sensitive, it sounds really, really terrible. But there is a other side to this, and I'm not saying that how we're handling it now is right. But there's two sides to look at this. And this is why in the past, so many people have said, you know what, the Cayman Islands Development Bank probably shouldn't give out loans at all. Because you put yourself in a catch-22 where, because it's a government-owned bank, the emotional element of holding people accountable to payments becomes political, right? And we are also held to obligation to the public's purse and its finances.
Fiduciary responsibility, and board members as well.
Exactly. And I know, Mrs. Scott, I feel terrible about what is happening, but there is history behind it which is not appropriate for me to speak about in respect to his application. But I do think that there is room for us to find a better solution. And I'm going to give credit to MP Saunders here in this respect. He had an angle, a viewpoint of what you call reverse mortgages, where you can, I mean, at the end of the day, we just heard you say that, you know, he can't be able to pass on something to his next generation. If he hasn't paid it off, then there's nothing it's not his to pass on. So hypothetically speaking, if he has a property and he's paid 50% of it and the other 50% hasn't been paid off, he can't pass on something that he hasn't completed the fee for. You got to remember, at one point, the Cayman Islands people gave money to Mr. Scott to be able to have the asset that he has. And I understand, I don't want him to become homeless. You know, I'm a big proponent to making sure that Caymanians can have a roof over their head. But the model of just saying you don't ever pay it can't be sustained. So how do we resolve this? And I think the opposite needs to be considered, because many times the children want the asset, but to pass on, and what is the government to do? Just say you can have the property free of charge so that the Caymanian child can have it? And then what? The other taxpayers who are in the room, like you, IOC, Miss Susan, and everybody else who's listening, whose three pennies of his money, 5 pennies of her money, are all contributing to the loan that was given to him. So there's a financial obligation. So I say, if there's a percentage that he owns, let's do a reverse mortgage so he never has to lose a house. So in God's word, we were given 3 strokes in 10. Let's say up to 100 years old, he can live in the house, and when the asset is left, the government will get back its portion that it lent the money for, and the children will get the rest. Now, there's options to do that, but to expect that the government to say, no, there's no payments, and the interest rates that the taxpayers' money is going to lose, we cannot just ignore that. We have to find an empathetic way to solve it. I agree with that, but I see this from both sides. And in most times, we'll sell only the emotional component, and as a representative of everybody, particularly the taxpayers' money, as well as him, Mr. Scott himself, I don't want him out of his house. I can guarantee that. But it's not my place to to say what the conclusion will be. That does fall under the Honorable Premier, and he will be on the radio on Friday, and I'm quite sure he can address those calls because the Cayman Islands Development Bank falls under him as Minister of Finance. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Uncle, I know that was long-winded, but I think it needs to be balanced, because if you only sell one angle, then what's going to end up happening is the public going to say, oh yeah, look at the government, they want to throw that old man out of the road and wouldn't even care about him, and he lose his house and this, that. There's more to that story than just that.
Mm-hmm. And I can understand people wanting to make the public aware of what's happening, but I don't and we appreciate people calling, to bring it to their attention, but I don't think that even the Premier is going to want to discuss
his personal
personal situation on the radio,
But there is a solution that can be found.
There shouldn't be an expectation that that's going to happen.
Well, but they're bringing it to public. They're bringing it out in the public domain. Him himself has done that.
Yes.
Now, and if you want to bring this discussion to the public, you got to be prepared to have the other side of it discussed as well.
Got to open up the whole book.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the truth of the matter is, and I want to leave the listening audience, not only you, Uncle, in respect to my viewpoint on this, there is a solution that can be found to keep Mr. Scott in his house, as well as keep the obligation to the funding and the payments to the taxpayers' money, because the funding that comes from general revenue is yours and mine's taxpayers' money that we put in that bank to lend it out. And I know that you wouldn't expect me to come and take money from you, Uncle, and then lend it to somebody and then say, oh, the person don't want to pay you back. You would fire me from my job as a representative for you. And that's where the level of obligation comes in. So, but I don't believe that we have a moral obligation to make sure that he has a roof over his head and not to lose the investment that he has done thus far. Now, how much is that investment? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But can I say something just to finish off, OC, quickly?
Sure.
The fact of what I'm saying is, I understand the long period of the long issue of what you right now there about the Premier getting involved or the bank getting involved. I understand all of that procedure. What I am saying is the bank was designed and created to help Caymanians. There should be something implemented where the bank can call him up and say, can you meet me in the office? We would like to sort something out with you. We know that you are unemployed. If you can meet a certain criteria of the payments at a certain amount per month, then we can work with you until your loan is down to where you can get it paid financially off at one given time.
But caller, do we know whether or not that process has been gone through already with the CIDB?
What I'm saying to you is, I am getting I'm getting information from the mouth, not from the mouth of other people. Mm-hmm. I am getting it directly from the mouth of the source. And what I'm saying is, there should be a point in time where the people feel like they created something for the people, to help the people. Mm-hmm. Don't put the people in a mess and say, listen, the only person can come to tell you about this is the Premier or the governor or anybody else. It should be the bank that make these choices, not the governor or the district, the Premier. Yeah. It should be the bank that calls these individuals that in this bind, that living their lives today, wondering if they're going to lose their home. Now it start here on Cayman Braco. See, that is what I'm trying to say. I owe the bank $100,000 now, but they came to the point and said, Mr. Christian, listen, until you can pay a certain amount more, we can keep your loan active. If you can't pay it, then we'll take it from you. That's what I'm trying to get across.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get across.
Caller, thank you very much for that. We have to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have one final caller in hold. I have a WhatsApp message that this one came in from about 9 o'clock, a few minutes after 9. So I'm going to read this now, Minister. Person wants to know if you are aware or if you can find out when the next Public Lands Commission Board meeting is being held. They say that to their understanding, it has been over 6 months since they last met.
I'm happy to report that the Public Lands Commission board has been updated in respect to there were some outstanding appointments that needed to be dealt with. Mm-hmm. That has been done. They were planning to meet Thursday gone, but was unable to meet because the new members that were added on were not available. But they are meeting this Thursday to deal with those applications, particularly that is focused on the public beach vendoring policy that has been created, which I know has been on the top of the minds of many, many people for a while. This area does fall under the Honorable Deputy Premier, Ms. Juliana O'Connor-Conley, so I don't want to step out of line, but I had to find out myself because of there was a few people calling my office trying to find out updates on it. So that's how I am aware of it, not because it's my area of responsibility. So the next board meeting is Thursday, as far as I understand, sometime Thursday afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you. Very helpful. Let's take our last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Ossie.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kenneth.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Miss Sue. I know you pick up this twice. My birthday was Monday, the 6th. I was 78. I went to get my little money, but they cut that off. And I said, well, wait, why would they do that now? At 78, here we are going to get a little job. They said, boy, you're too old, for it. So I went to the meeting in Bordentown, which was on the 24th, because it was a meeting up here concerned it. I went there. I seen a lady by the name of Miss Berry. She took information from me. She said she would have called me the next day, and I hear another word from it. Man, I got my car insurance. I have to take care of myself. I live alone, and I know that. Number two, I don't know what's going to happen because I'm talking about the drugs and the robbery. It's coming like they inciting me now to go do some kind of thing where I shouldn't do it. And Mr. Kenneth, you see me in the pen. I've been out now going to 9 years over. And the little help they gave me, they take that.
Caller, was this through the NAU? Hello?
It's a good thing I will get my little Simon pension that I could pay half of my car insurance, buy a radiator, buy an alternator, and try. I got to feed myself because we are living in a Nimga kitchen. Nimga doors on some of the place. You know who talking.
But can I ask you a quick question, just so I can get some clarity? This is not my area of responsibility. That does fall under the Honorable Minister Andre Ebanks, and I know that the minister is trying his endeavor best to improve the agency. I have heard that there have been some changes to a couple of people's payments. I don't know the parameters upon which yours was decided, and I don't want to step out of line to say anything inappropriate. Mm-hmm. But just
I think I can add. I can add to it. I was trying to. Can we find out from the caller whether or not he was receiving assistance from the needs assessment?
That's what I was just going to ask.
Because those papers.
Mr. Ossia, we're receiving that for years.
Okay. Because what happened was that there was a cutoff that had been made, but it was restored. It was restored in October. I shared it, with my listeners and everything. It was restored. They have then, I think, Minister Bryan, there's some forms now that have to be completed for reassessment. They have to be done by the 24th of November. Again, but everything will continue up until January, I believe, as it remains.
I hope you're right. But if you help me out for a second, you were receiving Siemens and Poor Relief?
Yes, Mr. Kenneth.
How old are you?
I am 78 months gone.
78 years old. Chances of you getting a job in our community are very slim. You have any insurance?
Well, I got a Seneca,
Okay, so the NAU helps you pay for your health insurance, so that's a benefit, right? And you get your Siemens benefit. So once they increase the Siemens benefit, are you saying that some other assistance was withdrawn?
Well, what I used to get from the NAU, they stopped senior
that.
Pension, the senior pension, I think.
Okay, so I see this is an example I've had numerous times. So they increase your Siemens benefits from $950 to $1,250, but they cut the other $950 that they had before. So you're now having less money than you had in the first place.
I ain't getting nothing but my Siemens pension. A good thing I get now, and I wouldn't even been driving on the road.
And how much is your rent at home? I hope you don't mind. I am on public radio, but I'm just trying to get the public to understand some of the scenarios we're dealing with.
My sister Angela, she's on dialysis right now. Oh, so you know who talking.
I know. I don't say any names. I just want to give context. So you got to pay rent, right?
With my sister, like Bill Navy, I guess how I can when I can, Mr. Kenneth. So no sense of me telling you any lies. I can't be with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, you see, obviously the NAU has made a decision based on whatever criteria that they have in place that they think that $1,250 is enough for you to survive. I'm not here to. I really don't want to do this publicly on the radio because it's your private information. But maybe it's something the NAU should call you and have a discussion with, because I'm at crossroads with the NAU in these assessments. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to leave it there in the best interest of allowing the minister to come and address this, because I can't do it, because I'm not going to be my answers are not going to be ones that will shine light positively. I don't think that I don't see the point of increasing the seaman benefit and then withdrawing the poor relief.
Yeah,
we should never have done anything because this man is now at a deficit. Worse than, so he used to make $950, which would be $1,900 to survive, paying rent, light, water, food, and whatever things he has to do. So we make a decision, we increase it from $950 to $1,250 for the Siemens, and then we increase it $300 but take away $950. Now, what logic that makes, I don't understand. I don't get it, and I'm sorry that you have gone through that, but that one is going to have to be dealt with by the Honorable Minister himself.
Caller, I'm going to ask you to, Minister, do you have the caller's number?
No, I don't.
Can you leave it with Miss Susan? Leave your number. We don't want to give it out publicly. Leave it with Miss Susan, and she will pass it on to the minister for you. Okay. I was thinking that it may have been caught up with this glitch where, remember, few months ago, a month or so ago, where they had been cut off and then everything was restored. They issued a press release saying that people had to complete their information so that it could be reassessed. They restored the benefits. They had said that it was going to be done on by the Friday. Unfortunately, it wasn't done, and I think the following Monday or something, they had restored all of them. Those persons have forms that they have to complete, and then a reassessment is going to be done. Those forms have to be submitted by the 24th of this month, 24th of November.
See, I'm not going to say another word about this. I think the Honourable Minister should come on and talk to the people about it. Because
agreed.
There's a large amount of people who this exact same example have come to me in my constituency, and it's for him to handle.
I'm going to just read this one quickly and give you an opportunity for some closing comments. Minister says, this person says, good morning. Firstly, thanks. I can skip all of that. That's about my contribution. Many people this morning agree highly with the two calls pertaining to our Cayman Airways and the Pirates Week heritage. You know the old saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But it is broken, so let's fix it, Mr. Minister.
All right. Well, I mean, I think she said, or the author. I can't say she. I'm making some assumptions on who I think that is.
And I have no way of knowing.
But Pirates Week and Cayman Airways. Cayman Airways falls under my area of responsibility, which has been delegated to the board members and the CEO, who's capably running the company. I think they're doing a good job. Is there room for improvement? Of course there is. There's always room for improvement. One of the things that did come up by Lord Graham was increase in salaries. Believe it or not, they have gotten an increase in salary and an increase in benefits since I became minister. They never used to cover all of their benefits. I've improved that. They've had a cost of living adjustment. Some salaries have gone up. And I don't like to talk about this publicly because it's really getting into the employees' lives. But we're doing the best that we possibly can at the same time of being financially covering the cost of the operations, at the same time improving their benefits, improving their salaries, and getting them in line with the Public Authorities Act. So I think, because there has been a lot of criticisms for a while by members to say, the pay wasn't good, the benefits weren't good, and I think we tried to address that through the board and through me as minister, giving the financial support to the company, and I thought things were good. So I think if you ask most people now, if you out of every 10 persons, you probably get 9 people say they're quite happy at Cayman Airways. They always have somebody who say, I think it should be better.
I saw something the other day. Stewardesses in the United States, they barely make over $2,000 per month, U.S.
So and you know what? I give credit to Cayman Airways so much because we undervalue what they did for Cayman when the pandemic was on. They took the risk. They took the death of a disease face on and said, I need to get my people in and out of Cayman. And they should be honored and looked up to and highly put on a pedestal. So I love them and respect them for that. And Cayman Airways is always underappreciated most times for what they deliver They cover a lot of costs that normally a private sector wouldn't do. If that was a private run company, we wouldn't get the benefits that we get normally. So kudos to Cayman Airways team, management, and staff. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'll continue to do everything I possibly can within my power to strengthen you and improve your lives and your salaries. So I'm going to beg for some more money for you. All right? Love you guys.
Thank you very much, Minister. Folks, I want to thank all who participated this morning as well. Very lively, productive conversations with Minister Bryan. Have a great day. Please stay safe. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery. Inspiring luxury. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better